Believe it or not, I was a virgin longer than anyone knew, and I hated it. I remember one time back in college, I was walking with my friends and they were talking about their various sexual experiences, and I was just unusually quiet because I had nothing to add. And then one of them looks at me and says, "Wait, dude, are you a virgin?" And the despair I felt in my stomach when I said yes was unbearable. But fast forward to today, and I've slept with hundreds of girls. Some were really hot, some were not, some were American, some were foreign, some of them were good girls, and others were bad girls, and everything in between. And this is primarily because I figured out what exactly it is that women find attractive in a man, which ultimately led to me getting into an amazing relationship with my current girlfriend, who I've been with for over 5 years. So if you're a virgin right now or just struggling with women, I'm gonna share with you the most important lessons I learned that allow me to have an amazing dating life. And you can use these as well, whether you want to just get laid a lot like I used to, or get an amazing girlfriend who supports you like I currently do. Lesson number 1, change your approach. There's essentially 2 big mistakes that almost every virgin or inexperienced guy makes. First of all, they're playing the game on difficult mode, and they're not setting themselves up to win, or they're just using completely the wrong strategy altogether, or some combination of both of those things. The general idea is that you want to stack all the odds in your favor and set yourself up to win. And I'm going to show you exactly how to do that in this video. Also, another important thing is don't identify as a virgin. Don't sit there and watch a bunch of virgin videos, except for this one, and don't tell girls that you're a virgin. There's absolutely no reason for them to know, and they're not going to ask you unless you're the one that brings it up first, which you absolutely should never do. Lesson number 2. Learn how to market yourself. And the best place to do that, if you're a virgin or you're struggling with women or you're just in a sexless rut, is going to be dating apps, especially Tinder, because that's going to be the easiest place for you to achieve your goal of getting laid. Let me show you guys a profile that's gotten me a lot of girls that I wound up sleeping with. So this is from about 3-4 years ago. Here's my first photo. Not bad, right? Second photo is a shirtless pic, so that screens pretty heavily, and we'll talk a little bit more about that later on. Here we have another photo that screens because I'm holding the handcuffs. Here we have next photo, and of course a super cute photo of my dog to counterbalance the douchey factor. And if you're sitting there like, yeah, Alex, but I don't really have any good photos, that's no longer an excuse. Back in the day, you used to have to hire an expensive photographer and get a professional photo shoot, but now AI technology has made this really easy. Go to www.unrealphotos.io. They're the ones that I personally recommend, and they're gonna do an amazing job getting you realistic AI photos for a very inexpensive price, relatively speaking. So do that, and because you need to have good photos in order to get lots of matches, because without that, you're not gonna be able to accomplish the next steps I'm about to mention. Let me show you guys another example. So I don't know if this guy was a virgin or not, but he certainly looked like one. So here we have his before photos, and yeah, I mean, he looks like every single possible stereotype you hear of a fop Indian guy, and big surprise, he was not getting many matches. So he didn't have to do some crazy transformation. He didn't have to put on a lot of muscle or lose a lot of weight. All he really did was basically remove his glasses, got a haircut, and changed his fashion. But look what a difference it made. I mean, this is a night and day difference. Crazy transformation with relatively minimal amount of work. And this profile started getting him dozens of matches a day, according to him, and ultimately led to him getting laid either for the first time or a lot more. And that's what you need. You need to get good photos, and that's gonna really kind of grease the wheels for you to accomplish your mission. Lesson number 3. Make it as easy as possible for yourself, so you're setting yourself up to win. And this is mostly done through screening. So there's multiple ways to screen. That shirtless photo I had and the handcuffs photo I had is screening right off the bat. And also you can do it with your bios. Take a look at what I used to use, right? I use some variation of this now. So it's 6-0 Miami. My passion is traveling around the world and seductively whispering Russia in your ear. So this is a very mild kind of sexualization. But then I say strengths being dominant. And I also say great color. Weaknesses, great ass, cute accents, intelligence. So right there with this bio, I am screening. I'm screening out all the girls who are super prude, which I don't really want to deal with, even as a guy who has a lot of experience with women. And also you can screen over text. And I recommend screening all throughout the process with your photos, with your bio, and with your text for the most success. So here's an example from a real conversation I had with a girl I wound up hooking up with. So my opener is swipe right for long legs. She said, swipe right for great abs, referencing my shirtless photo. So here I say, thanks. I've been looking for someone to oil them up. So again, you want to screen in a relatively indirect way by being flirty and sexual. You don't want to just be like, hey, you want to fuck? that's gonna be a little too socially retarded, right? And she says, have you found already? I say, still accepting applications. She says, you get a lot of applications, huh? I say, yes, but I got a good feeling about you, right? She says, I have really soft and delicate hands, just perfect to take care of your abs. I say, and I have really soft lips, perfect to take care of you. So here we have some really good flirting going. She says, I see, what lip balm do you use? And I say, the one designed specifically for men with great oral skills. She says, interesting, you can't find it in store. So here I accidentally double text, but nope, only available to members of the 50+ Oral Orgasms Club. I'm also kind of DHVing my sexual skills, right? Whether she's buying it or not, we're not really sure, right? But it's always good to DHV yourself in some way. She says, oh, this is a very popular club. Not easy to become a member. Only the best can get there. I say, yes, it took a lot of hard work, but the crown is safely mine. She says, you're an oral king? I say, have you ever been with the king? Right? She says, only with the president. I say, king, better than president. Haha. So there we go. That's me screening over text. Now I know at this point that this chick must be at least somewhat DTF because she's engaging in this very flirty conversation. Another great way to screen and set yourself up to win, make things easy for yourself, is to get the girls to come straight to your place. And this may seem unimaginable, right? If you have a very boring profile, you're not really screening or doing any sexualization. But if you're following the advice I'm giving you, right, you have somewhat of a sexual bio at the very least, and you're being flirty and somewhat sexual over text, girls are gonna be much more likely to come straight to your place. And that point, really, it's a lot harder to fuck up. So watch how I do that with the same exact girl. So I say, do you like wine? She says, I love wine, white wine. I say, good, let's put a bottle on my romantic patio. And this line just works really well. She says, oh, sounds like a plan. You think one bottle is enough? And so here I say, don't worry, I always have a few extra ones. You feeling spontaneous tonight? Going for the heart close? I feel spontaneous tomorrow. That works, say 8 is okay. Now look, after that, I did get some objections, which I was able to resolve, and you can read the full lay report on my website. But that's how you screen. You do it either with your photos, with your bio, with your texting, or just by directly inviting the girl to your place. And that's setting yourself up to win. Lesson number 4, set the date up for success. Now you might be thinking, Alex, I can barely sexualize with a girl in real life. How the hell am I supposed to do it over text? But keep in mind, when you're texting the girl, you have a lot more time to think of something. And if for some reason you can't do that, you can always utilize an app like Firetext to come up with a perfect response for you that's gonna be witty, that's gonna be sexual, and give you exactly what you want. So basically what you're doing is you're setting yourself up for success before the date even begins. Because if you sexualize the conversation, you screen the girl, and you invite her straight to your place, at that point, it's gonna be a lot harder to fuck it up on the date. In fact, don't worry about saying some witty sexual thing when you actually meet up with her. All you have to do is be a normal person for the first 10-15 minutes, just basic banter so she feels comfortable, and then just escalate. That's really the only thing you have to do, because she's already going into the date with the idea that she's going to be having sex with you. So you just have to escalate. And also, I don't want you guys worrying about your sexual performance. I hear that a lot from virgins, like, oh, I'm worried that I'm going to bust really quickly or I'm not going to be able to come. Fuck all that. It doesn't matter. It's your first time. I remember when I lost my virginity, I lasted about 20 seconds. Not that long. And I think the girl probably didn't even know that I had started fucking her. She thought I was probably still fingering her. That's how quick it was. I mean, I'm kind of kidding here. She knew we were having sex. It was consensual. But that's how embarrassing it was. Who gives a shit? I did better next time, and so will you. You will improve. Just the first time, or if you're in a rut, focus on actually getting laid. Everything else will come afterwards. Lesson 5. Always be growing. Now you lost your virginity, or you got out of that sexless rut you were in, it's time to start slowly increasing the challenge level. I'm not saying you should go to some high-end club and try to pick up a girl who's behind a table, but at this point you can play around with doing public dates, right? Meeting a girl in public. Or you can play around with doing some day game and cold approach, right? You want to start challenging yourself progressively more and more. The core tenet of what I've been telling you is that you don't want to challenge yourself too much too fast, because that's just going to lead to failure. But if you're slowly increasing the challenge level, which is built on success, that's what you want to do, so you ultimately get better and better at this shit. All right, hopefully you guys found this video valuable. If you're enjoying this content, make sure you subscribe if you haven't already, And definitely hit the bell for notification, because otherwise my video will just not show up in your feed, according to the YouTube gods. Also, check out my free Tinder guide, link is gonna be in the description. It's gonna show you more specifically how to get good photos, how to write a good bio that's gonna be more customized for you, and text scams. Take all those girls you're gonna match with the good photos and turn them into actual dates, which you're gonna close because you're gonna be following my strategy. Thank you guys, and until next time.